بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري أنها قال عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك ودخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء، أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى، يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا: يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين مولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين. آمنا بالله، صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My elders, my brothers, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On this wonderful occasion, a very joyful event in the history of Islamic history, let us all get together and convey our heartiest congratulations to the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Zaman Ajjalallahu Farajahu al-Sharif. Our greetings and message of joy and happiness reach out to all of you, my dear brothers, and to all of them watching this live, my mothers, my sisters, and to all the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alaykum salam, on this wonderful occasion of the birth of our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. It was on 7th of Safar, 128 AH. A child who was described as the best of those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. was born to Lady Hamida Barbariya in the village of Abwa, which is situated between Mecca and Medina. And because the birth was in Safar, and Safar is normally associated with the Allah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and of the musibah that was faced by the Asiran in Karbala, the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam chose the 7th day of the 7th month, which is Rajab, to celebrate the birthday of the 7th Imam, which is Imam Musa al-Kadhim salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. The history of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam is very interesting. We need to understand the intricacies that were there during this time. Our 6th Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Nisari salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, he kept stressing in a unique way, not seen by other A'imma, in terms of introducing the designated Imam or the nafs of the Imam to the others, to the people. Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam did it very uniquely. He kept on stressing, he kept on giving the qualities. Of course, Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam deserved those qualities, but he kept on announcing those qualities, despite the fact that our 6th Imam was blessed by several children who were elder and were born before Imam Musa al-Kadhim. But Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam did not give the imamat to others. He kept on insisting that the Imam after me is Musa al-Kadhim. He says in one of his famous quotes, which is mentioned in several books of Islamic history, Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam says, "Treat my son Musa with kindness." Now, have you heard other Imams mentioning this in this way? Treat my son Musa with kindness. And then he mentioned, he is afdal, he is more meritorious of all my children, and he is the one who is going to succeed after me. He is going to succeed in the imamat after me. He is the one who will undertake my position. He is the proof of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all the creation after me. This is how Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam was not promoting, but introducing Imam Musa al-Kadhim. Imam Musa al-Kadhim was very young. Very young. He had other brothers before him. We are all aware that there was a split in the Shia community after the 6th Imam. We have the 12ers, Ithna Ashari, we have the Ismailiyah, we have the Bohoras, there are several others. This split occurred after the 6th Imam. And the split, the division was so deep, so wide, that it gave rise to not only Ismailis, but also to Bohoras, the Dawoodi Bohoras, the other Bohoras, the Druze, the Nizaris, the Hafizis. So many. And when you read history, you will see so many other splinter groups that were created because of this division after the 6th Imam. It all started when the people around Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam started taking Ismail as the Imam because of only one reason. He was the oldest. Ismail and Abdullah were two sons from Fatima, the granddaughter of Imam Hassan al-Mustafa salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Let's not take anything away from them. They were pious. They were good. They were highly respected, revered. But Imamat is something else. Imamat cannot be given to somebody who is just pious. Imamat is unique. That is why we have only 12. Otherwise, we would have much more. Imamat is only given when it is divinely chosen with certain qualities that are unique, that are not existent in any other person. That is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that imamat through the imam to that person. So Ismail and Abdullah were good. You know something? Ismail was 25 years older than Imam Musa. 25 years older. That is why he was highly respected. That no, how can a kid be the Imam when you have somebody in the same family from the children of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, who we are taking as the Imam? How can we now take this small kid or a baby as an Imam when we have somebody called Ismail who is 25 years older to him, not to be the Imam? See the problem that Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam faced. But fate had it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans, He wills. Nobody can go against His will. What happened? Ismail, he died while Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam was alive. See how Allah plans. He died while sixth Imam was alive. Now, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam had this problem that he had to ensure that the people do not get divided, do not get separated, they follow Imam Musa al-Kadhim. For that to happen, he even did one interesting thing. His own son Ismail is dead. From the time he was given ghusl until the time he was buried, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam constantly, regularly, when the gathering was there in the mosque, when they were taking in the Qabristan, before lowering the body, do you see us opening the face of the body at that time? No. We see the face in the mosque, that's it. We do the ziyarat. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam constantly ensured that the face of Ismail is opened in the mosque. Usul Khan, of course, going towards Qabristan, inside the Qabristan, before lowering, and he was looking at the people and telling them, look, Ismail, my son, is dead. Why? Because of one reason. There cannot be two Imams together. That's the law. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim as-salam were alive together. They were brothers. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam never claimed to be an Imam. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam was alive, Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, my Imam is Hassan al-Mustafa. Ismail cannot be considered the Imam if Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam is alive. And if he died before Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam is dead, if he predeceased the father, he cannot be the Imam. That is simple proof. He cannot be the Imam. Imam ensured that this thing is sent home. This point is taken home and understood seriously that Ismail is not the Imam. And the other thing, they took Ismail because he's the eldest to be the Imam. Question. How can the eldest necessarily be the Imam? Don't you remember the story of Nabi Yusuf? Nabi Yaqub had how many children? 12. How old was Nabi Yusuf compared to his brothers? Very young. And what did they do? They wanted to get more favors from the father. They wanted to get closer to the father. They put him in the bed. But who was the Imam then? It was not them. So age is not a problem for Imamah. No. Nabi Yusuf became the prophet despite him having brothers who were much elder to him. So that is another point we have to understand. However, the division still took place. This is where the whole irony is. Despite Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam doing everything, not only that, when Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam was now leaving this world, Mansur Dawaniki, if you remember the Abbasid Caliph, Mansur knew the hadith of the Holy Prophet that there will be 12 Imam. Not only Mansur, all the Abbasid Caliphs knew that. Mansur knew, Harun Rashid knew, Ma'mun Rashid knew, all of these came afterwards. that what was the hadith of the Holy Prophet about the 12 Imams, the names, all the names they knew. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam had a big problem. How do I save my son Musa? What he did, he wrote a will. And he said in that will, after my death, these people are going to take over. He did not put Musa al-Kadhim alone. He put the governor of Medina inside the will. He even put the caliph's name, Mansur al-Dawaniki, inside the will. So now, nothing could be done. They could not touch Imam Musa al-Kadhim. They could not kill him. Because the governor said, now, who is going to take over? You, me, him, and the other two. Fine, total. So Imam Musa al-Kadhim of Islam's life was saved, ensuring Imam Jafar Sadiq, ensuring that he becomes the Imam. However, division did take place. What happened? One group took Ismail as the Imam. They know Imam cannot be there together. They took him as Imam, Ismail. This is the group called Ismailiya Khalisa. Ismailiya Khalisa. These are the people who believe Ismail is the true Imam, and they also believe he will return as the Mahdi. We all believe Mahdi, no? We ask Ismail today, they say Ismail is going to come. He is going to be our Mahdi. They claim he actually did not die. It was just a trick because the Abbasid caliphs were oppressive, and in order to ensure that he is safe from all the oppression, this was a trick to cover up. So they still believe Ismail is the Imam, and that group now splintered off. The Dawoodi Bohras then splintered off from that group of Ismail years later, where they believed in Dawood, and that is why we have the Dawoodi Bohras, which are there today. This is from this group. The second group followed Muhammad bin Ismail. They respected Ismail, but they said Muhammad is the Imam. And Muhammad, why did they take Muhammad? Why did they not take Musa? Okay, if Ismail, they respected Ismail is dead, why did you take Musa? Because they believe two Imams cannot be from the same father together who are alive. Imagine, they have that belief. But they did not take Imam Musa al-Kadhim. They took Muhammad because Muhammad was much elder also. So they took Muhammad as their leader, and they believe that Muhammad, from him, is what the Imamate is going to continue. And the third group, for us Shias, who followed Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. That is how we have protected our faith and our belief and our association with the 12 Imams. Had we not been careful then, our forefathers then, probably today would have been in a different group. Thanks to them, they stuck to Imam Musa al-Kadhim, that today we have the belief of the 12 Imams, and we have the belief of our Imam, Sahib al-Zaman, Ajjalallah Faraj al-Sharif. Now one thing, we keep saying in our lives that a child which is born is affected greatly or influenced greatly by the type of the parents that he has, correct? By the type of the mother or the father. All of us believe that. The mother and the father play the most important, the most influential role in nurturing the child, in bringing up the child on the path of Ahlul Bayt, on the path of right. We all know that the father and the mother's influence plays a great role. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam knew that, of course. He's the one who has taught us. What did Imam do? Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, keeping this in mind, remember Janabi Abbas, when Imam Ali alayhi salam wanted that mother, al-Baneen, that is when Janabi Abbas came. Here, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam purchased a slave from a North African state called Barbary. That is why she was called Hamida Barbariya. Her name was Hamida. This slave was the daughter of a nobleman. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, first after purchasing her, freed her. You're no longer a slave. Then trained her and made her one of the greatest Islamic scholar of one of the greatest repute during that time, and then married her. See what Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam did. And then he married her. She was then known as, amongst the people, as Hamida al-Bariya, who then became the mother of our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullahi alayhi. This woman was considered so pious, so knowledgeable, so wise, so pure by the women folk of her time that she was nicknamed as Lulu al-Marjan. Lulu al-Marjan, pearl. She was nicknamed the pearl. That is how she was during her time, the mother of Imam Musa al-Kadhim al-Islam. Our sixth Imam remarks about this lady Hamida, the mother of Imam Musa al-Kadhim. He says, Hamida is pure from every impurity, like the ingot of pure gold. Sonani Ladi. That's gold. That is what Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam described Hamida, the mother of Imam Musa al-Kadhim. That is why we have such clean progeny that comes out from Janabi Fatima Zahra, salamullahi alayha. Imam Musa al-Kadhim al-Islam had amazing qualities. Subhanallah. From childhood, he was unique. He was so knowledgeable, like all the other Imams, that any sensitive topic that comes in front of him, he would solve it. Abu Hanifa, do you remember his name, Abu Hanifa? Abu Hanifa, up to today, is being considered an Imam amongst our Muslim brothers, whose jurisprudence they still follow. They still follow him as the Imam, Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa comes to Imam Musa al-Kadhim, 5-year-old, only 5-year-old, and asks him a very sensitive question which children of today still ask. The question is, are we fully responsible for all the acts that we perform? Are we fully responsible? Or is it an influence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it us alone? Are we fully responsible? Imam replied beautifully, 5-year-old kid. Imam says, if Allah is responsible, if not you, if Allah is responsible, then Allah does not deserve to punish you. Period. If Imam says, if both you and Allah are responsible for that act, even then Allah cannot punish you because there is a shared responsibility of the deed. 3. If you alone are responsible for the deed, Imam says, he's telling Abu Hanifa, the greatest scholar of the time, who learned from Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam, all the fiqh he learned from Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam, he's telling him, if you alone are responsible, then remember, it is now Allah's will, his wish to either forgive you or to punish you. This simplest, in 3 lines, he answers Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa was speechless and left the Imam saluting him, saying, truly, you are from the children of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Probably the most famous title Imam Musa al-Kadhim al-Islam held or is being remembered by is al-Kadhim. Most of us. I'm not going to touch much. We've heard about it. But what does Kadhim actually mean? Kadhim is not only somebody who is calm and composed. Kadhim means somebody who reins in. You know, when you have a horse, and a horse becomes wild, a wild horse, you need to rein in the wild horse. It's very difficult. It can even kill. It can even break your bones. You rein that wild horse. Kadhim means to rein in that anger. This was Imam Musa al-Kadhim. He used to rein in that anger. He was called Kadhim for his unmatched, and I repeat, unmatched endurance, patience, and bravery in the face of all the adversaries. We'll see, and Again, Kadhim, for curbing his pain and responding not only to curb the pain, he responds with kindness, with generosity to all those who harass him. This is Imam Musa. Immediately, just a small description to summarize what I just said. Imagine a person spending 20 years in the dungeons of Harun Rashid, in the dungeons of the Abbasid caliphs. 20 years. 7th Imam. 20 years. Just for one crime. The crime was what? Because he was the designated Imam. The crime was what? Because he was pure, he was upright, he was loved by the masses. The crime was what? Just because he was too knowledgeable to be challenged by any known scholar or mufti. This was his crime. What else? What else could they pinpoint against the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? Nothing. He spent 20 years for this. Imagine. Imagine iron locking onto your feet 24/7. Try and imagine. Iron, iron. They tied him with iron. Chains and iron. Imagine not having the luxury of roaming around your own home. Think. I'm trying to bring it up for these kids also. Just imagine. Imagine not being able to look out of the window. Imagine darkness becomes your only light. Imagine the only treatment that you get, only treatment from anybody who comes into the dungeon is nothing but cruelty. Imagine through all these things facing Imam. If it was us, imagine. All this is happening to us and we are all alone, nobody to talk to. What happens? Imagine that it is not just a day, but 20 good years in all these problems, all this agony. Many of us make one common mistake. And our common weakness, which is the greatest weakness that we have, is what? Is to complain. Complain for small things. See the Imam. See the Imam, what he has gone through. We lose our time. We create the negativity. We create enmity. We create negativity amongst others. We create negativity in our mindset by just complaining. And we lose focus of all the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from us. Imam did not lose focus. 20 years. Beautiful line Imam says. He went through all these pains. He went through all these tortures. He went through all the bodily harms, the psychological trauma, to that extent that Harun Rashid sends a beautiful girl to lure Imam. Baba, Ahlul Bayt, you want to lure Imam? She turned to be an abida. Just looking at Imam. He just wanted Imam to look at her, just one glance. She turned, she changed. Imam does not have time for this because Imam famously said, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you know that I have been asking you to free me from everything for your worship. Just to worship you. Oh Allah, you have done so. Therefore, thanks to you, Ya Allah, from all these problems, Imam has seen a big ni'mah of being worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the midst of all this, in this month of Rajab, we've been advised by Mulana. We've heard various tips. We've been told that the greatest deed in this month is to do istighfar. Correct? One of the greatest deeds, if not the greatest, one of the greatest deeds is istighfar. Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam would call his close companions and tell them, look, I have done 5,000 times istighfar today. Daily, daily. Not to show off, to set an example. 5,000 times he would do istighfar every day. Due to his unmatched levels of patience and forbearance, submitting to the will of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him one excellent quality that is called Babul Hawaj. Whatever we have, the people of Iraq today, you ask them, they'll go to Kadhim, just go there and ask for hajat, whatever they have. Just sit outside. No need to be inside the zone. Even on the streets, they ask Allah. With the wasila of this Kadhim, Babul Hawaj, please, Ya Allah, accept my du'as. For my children, there are 4 Babul Hawaj. It's mentioned in the history. Consider the various scholars. One is Janab Abbas al-Amdad, Abu Fadl Abbas. 2, Janab Al-Banin, the mother of Janab Abbas. 3, Shishma Janab Al-Yaskar. And 4, Imam Musa al-Kadhim. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi wa ajma'in. Imam Musa al-Kadhim al-Islam was not only Babul Hawaj, was not only Kadhim, but beautiful quality you hardly heard from the pulpit. I have not heard for sure. When I was doing my research, I saw this and I was really touched. He was one of the best, or the best Qari of his time, Quran Qari. The best. We take Quran so lightly. But Imam, his recitation was such, people say that when Imam recites, people were moved to tears. Just his recitation would move you to tears. He was not only a Qari, he was also an Alim of Quran. He was a Hafiz, of course, an Alim of Quran. And he was reciting the Quran with beautiful, melodious tone that people, when they hear him, they really fall down in tears. Imam has taught us so many du'as, especially when you open Namaz al-Shab. For those who are regular with Namaz al-Shab, they'll tell you. In those books, you will see various places, Nafila of Namaz al-Shab, after Namaz al-Shab, during Nafila of Namaz al-Shab. You will see several places, small short du'as taught to us by a set of Imam. His way of asking forgiveness was beautiful, so unique. When you recite that dua, Allahu Akbar, 100%, you'll fall into tears. You will be moved to tears. It is such beautiful language and legacy that our 7th Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, Muhammad left behind. And let us all pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the tawfiq to follow the footsteps of 7th Imam. Ya Allah, with the wasila of Imam Musa al-Kadhim, Babul Hawaj, grant shafa, quick recovery to all those who are sick, especially those who are suffering from these COVID times. Ya Allah, grant them full recovery. Ya Allah, save us and protect us from this pandemic, Ya Allah. Save our children, Ya Allah, from this pandemic. And grant us long life, a life which you are going to be happy, a life on the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, a life that we can spend it on the day of judgment. Ya Allah, we tried, Ya Allah. Give us that opportunity. Give us that tawfiq. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أفضل الصلاة محمد وآل محمد.
يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا علي سلام عليك، صلوات الله عليك. يا نبي سلام عليك، يا رسول سلام عليك، يا علي سلام عليك، صلوات الله عليك. أنت نور الله فجرا، جئت بعد العسر يسرا، ربنا أعلاك قدرا يا إمام حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا علي سلام عليك عليك أنت بالوجدان حي للعين أنت عند الحوض أنت هاد وصفي يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا علي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يرتوي بالحب قلبي حب خير رسل ربي من به أبصرت دربي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله أيها المختار فينا زادنا الحب حنينا جئتنا بالخير دينا يا ختام المرسلين يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا علي سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك أفضل الصلاة محمد وآل محمد
الرحيم رحم الله رسول الله الفاتحة. باج ونور جالت أعمال ولي زراوسا شبير إمام زمان شبير إمام زمان करे सदा सलावत पढ़ो सलावत सलावत के उस पे निज़ार गोहर जो नबी बुलंद सिफात हुए सलावत सलावत सलाम या इमाम ज़मान फरमाऊँ या इमाम ज़मान
अस्सलाम वालेकुम या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या अमीर अल-मुमिनीन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या फातिमा ज़हरा सय्यदती निसाइल आलमीन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या हसन अल-मुज्तबा, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या अबा अब्दुल्लाह अल-हुसैन व अला अली इब्न अल-हुसैन व अला औलाद अल-हुसैन व अला अस्हाब अल-हुसैन व अखीका अबुल फज़ल अब्बास व उख्तीका ज़ैनब व उम्मे कुलसूम व बिन्तिका सकीना जमीअन व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। अस्सलाम वालेकुम या शम्स अश-शुमूस व अनीस अन-नुफूस अय्युहल मदफून बिअर्ज़ अद-दूस अरदल मुज्तबा राज़ बिल क़द्र वल क़दा मौलाना मौला कौनैन सुल्तान अबुल हसन अली इब्न मूसा रिदा कुन शफीअना व शफीअ वालिदैना फी यौमिल जज़ा। अस्सलाम वालेकुम या उख्ती फातिमा अल-मासूमा जमीअन व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। अस्सलाम वालेकुम या मौलाना या साहिब ज़मान, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या खलीफत रहमान, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या शरीक अल कुरान, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या काबत अल ईमान, अस्सलाम वालेकुम या इमाम अल इंसी वल जान, अज्जलल्लाहु फरजा व सहलल्लाहु मखरजा व ज़ुहूरिल अम्र रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।